Hello, 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 internet people, internet people. This is just a quick update on this vehicle and that vehicle, both of which belong to me. Uh, Somebody said, you need to show yourself on camera. Well, not really. That's reflection in my newly restored glass is about as close as you're going to get. That stuff there. Picked up some crap yesterday just riding down. I had to go ride in the rain for a little while, so got a little bit of haze on the window from that. Oh well, it'll clean right off. Some of that's on the inside, but reflection in the glass is about all you're going to see of me. I had to pull off of my projects for a while. Hey, Chris Clark. Hey, buddy. Because during that big rainstorm and hoopla and all that, wasn't yesterday, day before, and Miss Glenda's there. Just catching everybody up, Miss Glenda. Oh, man. Y'all know I was working on this car and that motorcycle. Both of which are mine. I was going to update y'all. Hey, Mr. Clark. But the other day in all that rain and bad weather, I had a perfectly healthy, not all that tall pine tree. If I had the money, I'd have every pine tree in my yard cut down. They are worth less. But anyway, due to all the wetness and rain and the ground being saturated and the big wind came up, and it just uprooted it. And of course, it didn't fall into my yard or sideways where it wouldn't cause any problems. No, it fell across my neighbor's front yard, taking out his power lines and ripping all that power stuff off of the side of their house. Of course, you know, according to Georgia law and the insurance companies and all that, if a perfectly healthy tree falls from your yard over somebody else's yard, it's their homeowner's responsibility, their insurance policy, to repair it. So technically I wasn't responsible, but I helped him out as best I could. I let him put all his deer meat in my freezer and all that kind of stuff. And then he had a guy come out and they was able to fix all the damage there because Georgia Power had just disconnected the cable and rolled it up off to the side. They said they couldn't do nothing about all that damage to the equipment on the side of the house. So anyway, he had a guy come and fix that. Georgia Power came out and turned their power back on. But his homeowner's insurance policy, he had a deductible on that, of course. And anyway, what I decided to do, since legally, technically, it wasn't my responsibility, I still felt bad about it. I felt partially responsible. So I ended up giving him some cash. I think I covered about half of his deductible. I hope that was the honest thing to do. But anyway, getting back to this stuff, Miss Glenda. Sorry, Chris, I'd rather talk to the ladies than talk to you. That's okay, isn't it? I was just going to kind of give y'all a quick update here on what I have started back on now. And I wanted to show you guys what links I go to detail sometimes, especially on motorcycles. What I did was I removed the seat. It's over there. I think I'm going to recover that before I put it back on because Lord knows it's some cheap vinyl. I don't know if it's factory or whatever. But so I removed the seat. I removed this fairing that goes from about there back and covers all that down in there and goes up under that luggage rack, which I had to put on myself and had to fabricate some stuff to make it fit because I don't make one for this motorcycle, but I bought one that was close and made it work. It took me forever. But now I can get in here and clean, which I've done all that before when I had everything taken off, and it makes it easier to clean this sissy seat luggage rack, whatever you want to call it. It'll make it a little easier to do some of that and get down all in there and all that. But and also it'll make it much easier to do all this. To do this, I've already done. I'll show you over here. These side skirts, I guess you'd call them. I forget what there's two of those. I took them off, one off of each side. I've got them ready for the Clear Coat Restorer, which I'm going to do to this motorcycle. I've got the gas tank ready for it. I've got the front fender ready for it. I'm going to play with maybe trying to do some of the frame, but it's so hard to get to any of that, and taking stuff off to get to that's just not really feasible. And I'll clear coat everything I can get to on this motorcycle. But what I'm looking at, Chris, and I don't know, maybe you can help me out on this. I don't know much about motorcycles really, but my old Honda that I had many years ago had a center stand on it. You know what that is, Chris? Where you could rock the bike back up on it, and it sat on that, and then you could tilt it back and forth to feed the front wheel off the ground or the back wheel off the ground. This one does not have that. It only has a kickstand. So what do you do if you need to get this end off the ground or that end off the ground? Well, the simplest solution I have found for doing that is to get what they call paddock stands. You can get one for the rear and one for the front. And I found them on Amazon for less than $100, but I'm studying up on that now just to see if those will work with this motorcycle. Of course, it doesn't help you much if you need to do like fork work on the front end, if you need to take the forks off or that kind of stuff, because it lifts the motorcycle up by the forks. I'm not sure if you can get the front wheel off. And then the same thing with the rear end, it lifts up by going under the swing arms, and you can do some maintenance that way, but that doesn't really help you either if you need to remove that rear tire for any reason, which would make it much easier to access. But you know, for the equipment to do all that, you're talking a lot of money, even if you just need to change a damn tire. So, you know, stuff like that, I'll probably just carry it somewhere and have that done. I don't want to get into all that. But I was just going to quickly show y'all what links I go to make sure I get everything done that I possibly can. I mean, if you're going to take all this stuff off, you might as well do a frame off restoration. You might as well, right, Chris? I mean, come on, dude. So I have toyed with the idea of removing the gas tank to access detailing and cleaning and redoing the top of the motor parts. Not rebuilding the motor itself, but just getting everything spiffed up as possible. Because removing the gas tank's not overly difficult. It's just not. It's just pain in the you know what. Mostly because of the gas lines. You have to disconnect them, blah 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 blah, and plug them so you don't get gas everywhere. But or I guess you could try to siphon all the gas out. Hey, Miss Melody, the blonde bombshell. Hey, Charles. Oh man, I was just showing y'all. I'm getting ready to do the redo some of the Clear Coat Restorer on my car, and I'm gonna do the Restorer and and the ceramic coating on both. Now on the car, I don't know, Charles, you may have seen one of the previous videos. What I did do the hood already. I stripped the old Clear Coat Restorer off because I messed up, reapplied it, waited for it to cure, then I applied a ceramic coating to that, waited for that to cure, then I put what's called armor over that, which is designed to go on top of a ceramic coating. But what I'm going to have to do is go around the whole car and redo all that Clear Coat Restorer that I put on the entire car. And so I decided I wanted to use it on a lot of the motorcycle as well. It's called Optimum Clear Coat Restorer. And so what I want to do is get the motorcycle and the car ready for that at the same time. so that I only have to open that can one time to do the car and the bike, because once you open that, the clock is ticking. It doesn't have an extremely long shelf life after you open it. So I just want to open it the one time and do both. And 9 ounces of that stuff, Charles, is like $100. So you don't want to be wasting it and being frivolous with it if you can stop it. And that 9 ounces should be enough to do both the car and the motorcycle, I hope. I'll do the car first. I'll do the major parts of the motorcycle, but I was showing everybody, Charles, what I've done here. I've taken as much stuff off of my bike as I can. There's a piece of it right there I'm getting ready to work on to get all that ready for the Clear Coat Restorer, and just to show everybody what lengths I go to try to do it as right as possible without just completely disassembling the entire bike. And Charles, what I want to do, and I was looking at them a lot today, is get some of those paddock stands. You're a motorcycle guy, I think you know what I'm talking about, because that's the only way to get the rear tire or the front tire up off the ground, making it easier to work on them and do a little routine maintenance, because the exhaust pipes and stuff on this motorcycle go down below the frame, so you can't use a frame jack to pick it up. You can't, not without matching your exhaust pipes. What was Honda thinking? Come on, please. Oh well. Just another bump in the road of life, Charles. Just another bump, buddy. But there's a lot of this stuff I want to take off and repaint, but that's another story for another day. I'm not worried about all that right now. But anyway, I've got those pieces that I took off the side, you can see laying up there. I've got all that ready for the Clear Coat Restorer. I've got the front fender ready. I've got the gas tank ready. And I'm about to work on that tail piece right there. I guess that's what you call it, Charles? Is that right? Am I correct? I forget all these technical names for some of this stuff. Like my mama used to say, a jack of all trades and a master of none. But you see that luggage rack, Charles? And the sissy seat luggage rack, whatever you want to call it. They don't make one for this motorcycle, so I bought one that was close. And I had to fabricate stuff to make it work. It took me forever. It was aggravating, very aggravating, but I got it on there. The rack itself wasn't all that expensive. It was just, I had to go to a specialty hardware store and buy, special bolts, because the bolts that go through the shock and hold that end of it on, they were about that much too short, the stock ones were. So I had to go get some that were a little bit longer, and they're kind of hard to find. But I found a place here. It's in Peachtree City. I forget the name of it. A couple people told me about it. They said, go over there. They've got everything. Everything. So I went over there, and sure enough, he had exactly what I was looking for. It was like $10, 15 maybe. But I just, everything I start turns out like that, Charles. Of course, I think a lot of it's a lack of technical savvy on my part. And Charles, one of my next projects is going to be, my headlight won't come on. Oh man, it's not the bulb. I've put a couple of different bulbs, and I've checked the wiring as best I could, and people tell me it can be a number of things, Charles. That it can be in this switch right here. I've covered stuff up to try to get, the headlight switch here could be bad. It turns your headlight on and off. And it's got some kind of relay that over here on this throttle side, when you hit run, and then when you hit the starter button, the headlight comes on. So my guess is there's a problem in here somewhere. But I don't know how to check that out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to solve that or not, Charles. I may have to carry it somewhere and get that done. I mean, the running lights, tail lights, the blinkers, they all work. They all work. It's just the headlight will not come on. One day it was working, and then just one day it stopped. You work on many motorcycles, Charles? I wish Ted, I can't remember Ted's last name, was on here. He's a Harley mechanic, works for Harley Davidson. He would know. Oh well, maybe I'll tag him with this later. Oh man, I suspect I may have to replace that switch assembly over there, but I don't know how to test it to see if that's where the problem is. I don't want to just chase parts all over the country until I finally buy the one that's causing the problem. So I don't know. It'll get figured out one of these days. I'm not too worried about it. I don't ride at night anyway, but as you well know, the law says your headlight has got to burn on a motorcycle to be on the road. I believe that's what it says. I've been waiting for the po-po to stop me, Charles, and say, hey, why is your headlight not burning? I don't know if they give you a ticket for that or not. I never even paid any attention to it when we were patrolling, Charles. But, oh, man, anyway, I'm going to get back to it. Hey, Miss Melanie, this is as close as we're getting to a selfie today. You can see me in my newly restored glass on my Mustang. Alright guys, I will catch y'all later. It's getting warm in here now. I'm going to have to turn my heater off or turn it down. Alright folks, hit the like button for me or the thumbs up or whatever the heck it is you do on Facebook Live. And I'll holler at you later. Miss Melanie, I'll probably text you later. Okay, bye y'all.